All right, guys, got everybody. Short week coming off of Monday night, but we've had a really good week of preparation. Our guys seem to be locked in. We understand the challenge it's going to be as a football team, NFC North, going to Lambeau Field, playing against a really good Packers team that I believe is, they're getting healthier, getting some of their major contributors back, and we're going to have to play a really good game to go up there and get the win. And our guys are, continuously evaluating where we're at as a football team and continuing to chase, what I believe is our best performance, which I do think is still out there for us as a team, complete in all three phases, and our guys are working every single day to try to get to that point. Just giving you guys the injuries, updates, and some statuses for the game. Brian Asamoah he'll be out for the game this weekend. Ankle just didn't turn over like we had hoped, and we'll try to get him some more treatment throughout the weekend and see if we can have him available for next week. Kene, Ezra, Jalen Naylor will all go in questionable. Whether we, once again, kind of in the same protocol, whether we activate Jalen Naylor or not will based upon, our determination for him for the game. And then TJ Hawkinson will go in with no game status. He has, kind of recovered from that foot injury that he did have on Monday night.
Practices look with Ezra coming back?
Yeah, he's been, he's gotten some reps in there, and we're just trying to gauge right now, where he's at from a standpoint of being able to be 100% Sunday at noon. Dalton's had a good week as well in prep, and regardless of, kind of how it works out with the active roster and things, we'll be just determined on what we think's best based upon Ezra's, feelings Sunday morning.
Kevin, Kirk was really hard multiple times on himself on the throw to Jordan Addison that went for a touchdown. I guess I wonder how you balance with him being a perfectionist, but also sometimes you got to put the ball up and let the guy make a play.
Yeah, I think that's part of Kirk's process. I've learned that about him a long time ago. Always, in the evaluation process of himself, he looks kind of how he could have done this better or that better, this play, this throw, regardless of if the play is made or not, just because he's been in this league long enough to know he can only control what he can control, which we ask him to do a lot, and he certainly played what I thought was fantastic on Monday night, but there's always going to be a couple throws here and there, that he would like to, hey, I wish I would have put it on this side or that side of the receiver or let him in a little more. And sometimes that's on things that maybe we're game planning for that week and he just hasn't had a lot of time on task on it, or it's a play he's run 100 times and just didn't love the throw, which happens to every quarterback in this league each and every week. And look, I know Kirk's overly critical of himself, and I love that about him. I think it drives him to be better and better, and his growth in our offense continues to skyrocket, and I think everybody can see that. But I thought he played a pretty darn good game the other night, and looking forward to seeing him continue to stack some really good performances.
Most quarterbacks are kind of on that side of things in terms of being a little more critical of themselves, or is he unique in that regard?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's part of leadership, for him and for a lot of our guys, coaches included. What could we have done better, regardless of the outcome? And it's easy to do that when you lose and there's multiple things that maybe you can point to and say, if I would have done this, was the result different? But we try to be a little bit more forward thinking with our process and what we could have done regardless of the outcome, so that hopefully, in that chase for our best performance, once we feel like we've walked off the field and, hey, that was pretty darn close, we're probably going to find a few things that allows me to keep telling you guys that at this podium. And that's what good football teams do, regardless of how it starts. Maybe what that result was Monday night for us, can we go back to work and continue to improve as a football team and, try to get to where we want to go.
Against San Francisco, the defensive side had 17 different players get in the game. I guess I wonder what you think, is there an advantage there of getting so many different people involved, different skill sets, different looks like Brian has this year?
Yeah, we had the extra D lineman up for the game, and I thought that was critical to keep those guys fresh. And really all those guys had an impact on the football game. Even, J-Roy wasn't in a whole ton, but, he had 2 critical, positive plays when he was in there, looked active, and staying fresh is huge for those guys up front. And then I just think with the fact that we do, a lot of games carry 6 safeties active and, multiple personnel groupings where some of those guys are playing linebacker spots or playing DB spots, big nickel spots, whatever it is. It just allows us to be versatile, make, the offense have to identify kind of not only what we're playing, but who's in the game and how they want to identify those defensive structures. And, it can be tough for offenses at times before the ball's ever snapped.
Based on how the past 2 teams have defended you without JJ versus what Green Bay did maybe last year, do you have a bearing on what to expect this week?
Yeah, like every game, you go in with a mindset of what you think you're going to get based upon how a team has played, and then maybe trying to piece together how you think they might play you and our personnel specifically. But I think right now we're just continuing to try to build an offensive philosophy for each and every game we play that holds true regardless of how we're being defended. Try to avoid negative plays, stay efficient on early downs, and show the ability to be explosive and efficient on those early downs. And then situationally, thought we were really good in the third down the other night, but red zone, we've got to finish with some more touchdowns down there, and that's a mindset that we've got to have moving forward this season.
How do you play?
Selection yet?
Yeah, we've talked to them about the cleats. We've kind of gone through this a little bit, getting on with our previous NFC North, kind of opener in Chicago, and just being aware, and the temperature's starting to drop a little bit. It's not going to be a night game. Could get some moisture, so our guys got to be prepared and wear the right footing to, really give themselves the best chance to be who they normally are as players without the footing or anything being an issue. Good thing is I thought we had some good chances to get out this week in similar conditions and kind of test out whatever the guys think is best. Ultimately, I want them to feel good about it, but there's a responsibility there, to make sure you're in the right equipment.
How have your skills players kind of embraced the extra opportunities? What have you seen the most?
Yeah, I think it's just the continued emphasis of whether it's Brandon and all of his catches going for getting us a new set of downs, TJ being critical and getting the target volume that kind of can show up for him within the rhythm and timing of our offense, and then Jordan. Jordan's growth has been tremendous, but not surprising to me at all. And just the confidence is great to see him building, snap in and snap out. And what I loved was the response to how the game started for him and what then followed the rest of the night. And that went really for our whole team. And then KJ is, we asked KJ to do a lot of things, thinking about, Josh Oliver, Johnny Munt, CJ Ham, and then how our backs fit in with how we're trying to sometimes manipulate and do some things to have the best possible combination of scheme and protection and all those things. Our guys handled it really well on the longer week last week. I'm really challenging them, and we've talked a lot about handling that coming off of a performance like Monday night, handle that success and have that same level of preparation and comfort to be able to go play fast on Sunday.
Kevin, how do you balance, I'm sure you'd want every guy in the 7 studs if you had your choice, but with the guys saying I feel more comfortable in this, so I'm not going to wear them.
The biggest thing is I'm never going to mandate things with guys' equipment, but I think enough of them understand how important it is, especially the veteran leadership, and then they will ultimately help. Just make sure guys can get out there, test their footing. And then the other thing is your technique and fundamentals. Guys that, have the right footing can still slip and fall on the ground if you're cutting off the wrong foot. You're out of control. You're not coming to balance, to make a tackle in space. How are you, what's your technique and fundamentals up front, either on the O-line or D-line? Setting a combination, being great with your hands, being great with your balance and your body position, and then defensively being able to be rooted and take on double teams and do your job within the movement or whatever we have called. So it's a combination. A lot of it is, when you see guys even on turf, indoors, whatever it is, you see some guys slip and fall sometimes, and it's just a lot of it goes back to technique and fundamentals, and we've tried to really stress that, along with the 7-stud cleats clearly will be a tool for those guys to use to help enhance their ability to not be on the ground, which is really the number one requirement for NFL football players, is not be on the ground when you don't have to be.
If Ezra plays Sunday, is it definitely Ed at right guard? Could Dalton be a possibility there?
Yeah, we're working through that as far as, really at that left guard spot. I think Ed, really coming off of what I believe to be one of his most complete performances, Monday night against a really good opponent. I think we've, based upon how the reps have gone at that spot, since Dalton really arrived, for him and also for Ezra really over a long stretch of time now, it's probably more of a left guard thing for right now. But as we've said from really the beginning of training camp, we're on the look for the best 5, and that's ultimately going to be what drives the decision. But medical information and guys' availability also are going to be a critical part of it as well. But I feel very confident, regardless, with what Chris Cooper and Justin have done with that group, and Wes really going back to that Thursday game in the short week kind of mini bye we had. The improvement we've seen across the board since then, outside of handling some movement against Chicago or a couple miscommunication here and there in the run game, they've been really solid, and pass pro really built around our tackles, and Garrett back in there. I feel very strong about that O-line, but it'll be something that we want to try to solidify what that best 5 looks like, and then ultimately, the ebbs and flows of guys getting dinged up here and there will have a lot to do with it within their preparation.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.